Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Continuing the special coverage and the special edition for the first day of the presidential elections that ended today here on Monday. And joining us here in the studio to shed more light on the first day of the electoral process is Dr. Karim Hamza, Professor of Political Science at the Free University in Brussels. Dr. Hamza, thank you very much for joining.
Thank you very much. It is my pleasure.
First of all, Dr. Hamza, how would you evaluate the first day of the presidential elections?
Actually, it was more like a ceremony, more than an election, because the most famous song you can see everybody singing now is Bushra Khair. Okay. In the same time, we have to salute the police and the army, because as a security point of view, alhamdulillah, there is no violations. The amount of participation is good, but it is not what we are looking for. We need more than that. The expectation rate is almost around 10 millions out of 50 millions, which is good for an election, but it is not what we are looking for. We need more signals in this. We need more participations in this, and this is reflected in the speech of Engineer Mahlab, Prime Minister, from a couple of minutes ago, that he is arguing and asking all of the citizens who are eligible for voting to go for the election process, because it is important for all of us. It is one of the steps that we needed to go towards stability, we needed to go towards the prosperity of our country, and to reflect a message to every country outside that we are able to manage our own country, hopefully, inshallah. And in the same time, I see a lot of optimists from all of the citizens who went to vote. Social media is sending a lot of jokes and comics and a lot of songs regarding the election process. So I can say that in all of the tough conditions, as a nation, the Egyptians are considered very funny and optimistic in their expression of how they are dealing. They are not afraid. Today it was considered hot, and humidity was very high, but in the same time the participation considered good, but not very good as we are expected. In the same time, most of the participants, the majority was women. Again, our beautiful ladies win again to take the lead in such process, and reverse to the expectations, the amount of youth or younger generations was good participation also. So hopefully tomorrow the amount of voters will be higher than today, inshallah, and it will be a peaceful process, and we'll start to go ahead in building our country, inshallah.
Yes. Well, it was quite recently, it was declared that tomorrow is going to be a day off, actually. Do you think that this will play a big role in encouraging people to go and cast their votes?
I believe yes, because me myself, I was not able to vote because I have my own work and duties, so I was not able to go, and there is a little bit traffic jams in some areas, not in every places. So it was a little bit hard. So I think easing tomorrow by giving a vacation or a day off, I think it will let the number of participants to increase, inshallah.
Dr. Hamza, you pointed out that women participating in the electoral process is actually quite significant, and we've been getting used to that over the past few years through different elections, parliamentary elections, the previous constitutional referendum that was held a couple of months earlier. Now we're getting used to women playing such a vital role in all these referendums and elections. Why do you think that that is the case now, especially that we've been noticing it after the January 25th revolution? Why do you think that we're starting actually to see this more now, nowadays?
Actually, it is a quite noticed phenomenon since 2011. Who takes the pioneer in such process was the women or the ladies in our society. Women in our society somehow didn't take a significant role in the political transformation in Egypt, but since 2011 they feel obliged to some kind of enforcement towards stability, and they are the one who are keen to follow the process, and they are the one who are keen for stability, because I see they are more believe that a democratic process or a political transformation process will be much more useful to the country from going for a violence or going for another trend or boycotting the democratic process. In the same time, women in our society are exposed to what is happening. They are following the media more than men, okay, and they are reading, and they are more passionate. So in 2011 and in 2012, women was following a specific candidates, and they was very passionate about him, that he will be the leader and so on, whatever what is her political point of view. My mother is almost 60 years old, and she's the one who are pushing us to go for the election process since 2011. In the same time, what I see now, most of the women are saying we have to be stable. We need security, we need stability, so we see that the political transformation should be through a democratic process. And I see they are giving a very good example in that. So if you followed most of the pictures that have been taken by the media during the day, the majority, I believe more than 70 or 80% was women. And maybe part of it is like we have opened the gate for them, that they have to take the right in this process, and the women in our society have to take more responsibility in helping setting the country to the right direction, inshallah.
Yes. Well, do you see them actually being rewarded for such a participation? Actually, rewarded is maybe the wrong term, because do you see them actively and practically taking a part in the political life here in Egypt, especially after at least the political roadmap is done? Do you see them taking more seats in the parliament? Do you see them assuming more ministerial posts? Do you see them actively being getting what they've always deserved?
I can comment on the previous 2 years. I don't know how it's going the next 2 years, but in the last parliament, most of the political parties was trying to gain the women votes. So I will give you a seat so you can come. So shall this seat be an active seat? Will be this woman really will take a lead and take a responsibility? I doubt it, because it was more like gaining votes by different means, like attracting the women's vote. So far, we are not positioning our women's right in the parliament, because we have a lot of qualified women, but they are not in the real picture, okay? Unless she is participating in some political parties and so on in the show. But I believe enhancing the role of women in our political system will encourage a lot of active young women to come. We have a lot of good intellectual and smart and educated women, young and old and middle-aged. Why we are not using in different places? Of course, there is a couple of women who have taken leader positions, but I believe there is a lot of qualified candidates, women, which can take more lead in the future, inshallah.
What about another very important and integral segment of society, which is basically the youth? Now, the youth, they started the whole thing in 2011 mainly, and the youth now, regarding the current presidential elections, they're quite divided. A lot of the youth are really calling for a boycott. A lot of the youth are calling for one candidate. A lot of the youth are calling for the other one, and they're willing to vote for the other one. How integral or how decisive do you think the youth's vote will be in these elections?
So far, the amount of youths who have participated is more than the amount of youths who have boycotted. This is my primary assessment according to the media. I don't have real figures that I can predict on. But we see that the amount of youths that have participated is not few considered what we have expected before. But the idea, most of the youths are some kind under depression because we didn't set the expectation right since 2011. They was expecting in 2011 everything will be changed in a couple of months, we'll go for prosperity in a couple of months. So this was not realistic. Any political transformation will take a couple of years and maybe decades until we reach stability and prosperity. So overestimating and over-predicting will create a frustration. So the government and the political parties have to be realistic with the youth, have to attract more youth to participate and giving them the real expectation. We can do so and we cannot do so. We will take some time to do so and so, because youth in general are in hurries. They want to do everything fast. Fast is good, but if it is not properly done, it can make disasters like what happened in 2012. So awareness for the youth, training for the youth in the political system, trying not to be biased for a specific group or specific social class, trying to, as we do for the women, we also will do for the youth, that they have to be prepared for the future. Most of the previous systems problems that they didn't create second line and third line. So this is a mistake and a catastrophic mistake for us. So it should be resolved in the new regime, inshallah, that preparing second line, third line and fourth line, inshallah, from the different younger generation to take the lead of the country to the prosperity, which is happening in different growing nations, even in Malaysia, in US, in Europe and so on. They are not depending only in a specific generation. There is a rotation between the generations, and we have to believe in this. So we have to prepare our youth to take the lead, preparing them through education, through training, through attracting them to the country, rebuild the belief in the country. Again, everybody loves his country, but sometimes you get frustrated for some disadvantages that you can see. So we have to resolve this, we have to hear from them, we have to sit with them. Even if we have some of the youth who are against the political elections, we have to give them a chance to express their opinion and try to give them or show them the result